Hey guys, Tommy the Tank here. Hello Tank Nation. Thank you guys for everything that you do, for all the support and the love and everything. I always appreciate it. It has been super busy. The last few weeks we just did a mini triathlon with Go Clark last weekend. This weekend we were down in Kawit, Cavite for their race. It was amazing, fantastic, super fast. Thank you so much, TommyTheTank, for inviting us. We had an absolute great time and can't wait for the next event down there. I'm telling you, it was fast, super fast. It was 12 laps. I'll set it up for you real quick. It is 1 kilometer on each side, so 2 U-turns, and this was a quick crit, so just 22K total when you count the neutral lap, so just awesome. Yeah, I loved it. It was great. I got the whole race on video, well, almost the whole race. I had to drop off towards the end because I was kind of at my limit with these young guys. I'm telling you, I think I could be a dad to just about everybody in the group except Coach. So yeah, super fun. Had an amazing time. The women had their own road bike race, and then there was a mountain bike classification for both men and women, and then we had a great party at the Aguinaldo Shrine, which you're gonna see. And yeah, so super awesome, loved it, can't wait to do it again and get back down to Cavite and do some more riding with you guys. So thank you to everyone that I met, super amazing, gracious. The hospitality was fantastic. I loved it. I've got lots of fan pictures here, and make sure you check the Facebook page, Tommy the Tank, and also the Instagram account as well, because I've posted a ton of pictures there. So maybe you're one of the fans that I was lucky enough to take a picture with, and you're in there too. As always, if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button so I can share more of this with you. We're just getting started. I've got another race coming up this weekend at NCC, New Clark City, and then 2 more races coming up the following weekend here in Clark for the Clark Criterium, and then my first gravel race. So excited. Can't wait. Gonna be amazing. Gonna be awesome. Or could be epic failure. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see you guys on the other side. Thanks. All right, here we are at the Kawit Cavite Crit race. We are rolling in now to the start of the race. We actually parked at the shrine, at Aguinaldo Shrine. So just a short ride down here, but you know, it was already a happening type thing. Checked in the race tent, got our numbers, and yeah, ready to roll. We had the honor of helping to start the race, Coach and I, so that was fantastic, and we're off. So the first lap, I guess you could say, was kind of a neutral lap, or half lap was a neutral lap, but then we're right into it as we head back up towards the start line. And so here I'm jumping in behind Coach, and I'm just creating space so that Nicky can jump in. Nicky had his very first Criterium race, and you know, it's always a little bit nerve-wracking trying to figure out, you know, where your lines are and what you can and can't do to keep everybody safe. But he did a great job, great effort, and it gave me a time to just rest behind him there as we made our way up and around the corner. So the racetrack was basically 2 kilometers. The race ended up being 22 kilometers long because, of course, the neutral lap. You can see those are the really fast guys that now have already made the U-turn. So there's about, I would say, 25 or so in that lead group, and they were gone. You know, they were like, I don't know, 400 or 500 meters ahead for, you know, a big chunk of the race. So right now we're just tucking in. We're kind of getting our heads on straight. We only had 4 of us in the CRZ group on this particular race, and so we had young Eros out front, and then Coach was directly behind him, and then of course Nicky and myself as we came into this U-turn. So, you know, U-turns are really interesting. because, you know, they can obviously scrub off a bunch of speed. And so in true Criterium style, especially when you're doing laps like this, one of the really important things is to make sure that you get out and explode, you know, as best you can from that U-turn, get back up on pace as quickly as possible. That does take a toll on you. You know, if you've never done a crit ride or you're not practicing that kind of stuff, you know, like interval training and things like that, it can be a challenge. And it's just a mental game. You know, you just got to get it in your head that you're going to make it happen. So everyone is still intact here as we go into this U-turn. A little bit tight, but you know, you just have to watch your lines, pay attention, and then it's time to you know, jump back on each other's wheel and get going. So coach is up there in front, and we're going to start moving back into position. I come up behind him again, and now we're headed back down towards what is going to be the finish line. So the pace was on really from the start. No question about that. At this point, we're doing like 42, 43. We get a little tight here, and I end up bumping with this young man right here. But everything was good. It was okay. He just didn't know that there was someone coming behind him, behind coach. And so, you know, that's racing. Sometimes you touch elbows, hips, shoulders, things like that. But if you do it with control, everybody's safe, and no harm, no foul. So as we head back down, you know, we're kind of going through some of the traffic that's just not going to keep up with those breakaway guys. And so it's important that you pick your lines here, and you can see we've got oncoming traffic, right? If we're going 42 plus, they're doing 42 plus type thing. So we really want to pay attention here. You saw there that it said lap 11. So what they did was they counted down the laps. So this was always meant to be basically a 12 lap race type thing, and so they're telling you what lap you're on. So in that case, we were on lap 11. So now we're back headed up towards the start line, and I'm still here jumping behind coach. So our original plan was that I was going to be sort of preserved, I guess, if you will, the designated. And we did that for a little while, but just as it turns out, we weren't able to maintain that particular plan. So like all good plans, you go from plan A to plan B when it's not working. Right now, the most important thing is that we just stay consistent. Our goal for this, of course, was to show up, compete, have fun with everyone there, but at the end of the day, we're also practicing our own race strategy and our own technique, just to make sure that we're continuing to build on that skill set, especially now that we're in race season. And as I mentioned earlier on in the video, we've got some races coming up that are Criterium style races, so it's really important that you start to get communication down and things like that. So coach calls Eros back to the front. Eros is our young gun. You know, he's just 18 years old, amazing young man, and he definitely knows how to work for the group. And so his job was to spend some time up front so that we could, you know, get in our rhythm and work our plan, work our strategy. So at this point, we're back on track. You know, I would say we were moving in and around 40 up to 45 kilometers an hour, and that was kind of the mainstay on the straightaways. It's always important that you know, keep your head on a swivel as you start passing by traffic, just to make sure that everyone's aware of you and you're aware of them. And then we start heading back into the crowded section, which is basically kind of where the finish line is located. So here we are. We're on the lap 10 of this particular race, and coming through that tight U-turn section. And again, you just got to get on the pedals, pop out, get back to the front. Eros does a great job here, and moves himself back in front of coach, which allows coach to get repositioned, and I get repositioned. Now at this point, Nikki has dropped off, which is fine. There was no issue with that, and he joins up in a second chase group, if you will. to these guys that are all the way up front. And so our job now is just to start tracking them down. You have to remember when you're in a race of any level, right? I mean, races aren't won or lost in the first lap, of course, unless you have a semplong or a crash, as we call it. And so it's really important that you be patient, be smart, and you work your plan. Ultimately, that's what matters the most. And so here we are, just getting back on pace, making sure our legs are getting warm, that we're executing, and we're just slowly tracking down who we think are the front runners. So as we come in here to the U-turn, and we make this corner, you're going to hear Coach just give Arrow some encouragement. You know, it's always a challenge. There's a mental side, obviously, to all of this, especially in a race. You know, whether you're doing an endurance race or you're doing a crit race or anything else, at some point, you know, you're going to get tired, you're going to get sore, and your mind's going to start this battle with you about shutting down, about not trying as hard, because it wants to try to save you, if you know what I mean. And so it starts talking to you about resting or not going as hard, and that's just something you have to shut down. You have to turn that part of your brain off and keep pushing. So Eros does a great job of that. Of course, he's still young, he's still learning how to do all those things, and here you can just tell by his body language, he's on the line, and he's really pushing himself as hard as he can, which is exactly what we've asked. Coach motions me back in behind him to make sure that I'm staying in the draft as long as possible so that we can get max benefit. But I'm also going to follow him now as we go past Eros and one of the other riders that's kind of pulled up, and we're getting ready to start lap 9. So always important to carry as much speed into the U-turn as possible, but keep it safe. And then when you come out, you know, you got to get on it. So you can see the guy on the left start sprinting. I come up behind Coach, and then you're going to see here that Coach is going to make a motion right there on the left side away from the eyes of our competitors. Then look to make sure that I'm moving where I should be, and now I take over in the front. So this became our pattern for the next few laps, where I would come out of the finish line, U-turn, and I would start to lead us back up to top. And you know, I really like the time trialing practice that we do and work, and so this is kind of one of my things. And I know how to put my head down, I know how to work hard, and just really pound those pedals as much as I can to get us up. Get us up to the top as quick as possible. It's important though that you also maintain your effort. You can't go all out. I mean, we're still not even halfway through this race yet. So it's important that you find a threshold and kind of get in that groove and be able to maintain it no matter what. So you can see there's still, you know, about 15 or so guys in a breakaway. By the time we make the U-turn and get going again, they've definitely got at least, I would say, 200 to 300 meters, you know, on us, and there's not much that we can do about that right now except slowly increase our effort and try to break that down. So these young guns were really consistent. They were able to maintain some pretty high speeds. You're going to see one of them come back into the picture here in just a second. And but if you notice that their cadence is quite high, so this is definitely high RPM riding for them. And a good contrast is watching Coach. You know, Coach is doing a lower RPM. You know, your cadence is and your heart rate rather is directly tied to your cadence. So if you can keep your cadence low by using a bigger gear, it's going to directly affect your heart rate. Okay, so we've made the U-turn now on lap 8, and we're coming out. So Coach is going to start out, and then it's my job to build that speed and come right back up onto him again. And so we're going to get rolling and get up to pace and catch up to these guys that are trying to put some distance between us. But right here, I just
I got gapped a little bit, and so I let this rider come in between us, which isn't normally what we do. Then came alongside him, and we were getting, you know, on the back half of this lap. So one thing we talk about all the time at CRZ is about managing your effort. So there wasn't a need to really push super hard to get around the rider in front of me. I just waited for a moment where I could slip up on the inside here, get past coach, and get back in front so that I was in the right position when we made the U-turn. And that used very little energy, which was my goal, and allowed me to jump back on front where I wanted to be anyway. So we make the U-turn here, we come out, now we're headed down again, and it's just time to build speed. One tip I would give you guys as you're learning how to race and everything is, I think there's a time when you need to jump on the pedals and really mash them hard and sprint, and then there's a time when it's better for you to just build speed gradually. You're going to get there eventually, there's no question about that, but sometimes when you start doing that sprint, you're kind of burning up energy that you're going to need later in a ride by just over accelerating too early. So that's a tip that I think anyone could benefit from. Build your speed gradually, stay in control, stay inside, and manage your effort. That's probably more important than, you know, jumping back out in front the first 200 meters after. Alright, so we're coming up here on lap 7, and now we're here in the U-turn slot again, and making good turns here the whole race. So that was very, very helpful. My job is to just stay with these guys first. Again, start building speed naturally. They actually let me through here in the middle. Look, it's a great decision. If you think about it, I mean, I'm a lot bigger than everyone else in this race, and so if I have the ability to maintain the speed that the race needs to be moving at, then you get to jump on the back of me and get a free ride. That's just being smart. So our goal was to get up front and set the tempo for this portion of the race, and so that's why I was there doing that. That's why coach was also taking over doing that. That allowed us to sort of put our plan in play and maintain the speeds that we wanted to maintain and see how everyone was doing. You know, that's a really important thing to remember. These bicycle races are not games of checkers, they're games of chess. And so strategy, understanding your opponent, watching their body language, listening to them as you go by, all of this stuff matters. So this next section you can see is slowed it down. There's still about 15 or so riders that are in this kind of big breakaway group. So we're not in any jeopardy right now of losing contact with them. As we make the U-turn, we're just a couple hundred meters behind them. But we definitely know that we've got to track them down now and get into that group. Okay, so we're getting to that halfway point here, and this is a great reminder that Eros and Nikki have actually found each other. So they're in a chase group that's behind us, and that's what happens. You know, if you get dropped in a race and you're with a team, you know, the one thing you want to start doing is looking for your other teammates. So if you can link back up and start riding together, you can work for each other. And that's really what it's all about. So Eros and Nikki were able to get back together and ride with each other for the remainder of the race, and that was fantastic. And that's exactly what we also trained to do as well. So here we've got a flyer now. We've got a breakaway guy going off really, really early. I didn't react to this jump because I knew we were really far out from the finish. So it's best to just let something like that go. and not stress herself out, not waste any energy trying to chase it down, and then see what happens, right? I mean, racing is a game of attrition, and so you want to make sure that you don't push yourself into the red too early. It's better for you to actually maintain your consistency and gradually build back into it and see if you can get it. So here the guys are kind of calling it out, and I didn't pay too much attention to what they were saying at this point. I was really just focused on getting back up to our running speed, which was, you know, like I said earlier, in the 40 to 45 range depending. And that was the main goal. So as we swing by some traffic here, lap traffic, now we're starting to see the breakaway sprinter. He's just off in the distance, less than 100 meters away. So there's no point trying to rush to catch him because, again, we're still so far out. You know, that was the 6th lap, so we still have over 5 laps to go. So I'm just going to gradually maintain my speed discipline here, and as we work around the corner and come to the next U-turn, you can see we're starting to close that gap a little bit more. Just re-watching this with you guys, I can see his cadence is extremely high, and that's the hard part. When your RPMs get very, very high, if you don't have the lungs or the legs to handle that, it can really hurt you. And so anyway, you can see here, he kind of pulls up. He realizes he's not going to get away from the larger group. That's the power of the peloton. So the breakaway is neutralized, and we get back out in front and do our thing. So we're coming into lap 5 now, and I've got my perennial powerhouse guy off to my left. He was just amazing. I mean, as high as I was getting the speeds up to, you know, he was able to just stick right there. And there were some times where we were just neck and neck, which was awesome. So we make the U-turn a little bit slow. That's actually the breakaway sprinter. He's back in our group now, which was smart for him to jump back in there and let the group work alongside. But they take off in a pretty big power effort. And then we had a tricycle right in the middle of the race, but it was actually the race director, coordinator, TommyTheTank, who needed to get to the other side of the racetrack as soon as possible. So she didn't impede the race at all. We were all able to safely navigate around her, but you know what they say, it's more fun in the Philippines. So we had to get around a motorcycle trike in the middle of the race. So this is actually the sprinter that had gone out that we had caught up to. So I got behind him, did a little bit of drafting, looked around the corner to see where everybody was at, and that's when Coach came around. So jumped in behind him and realized that we were going to push back to the front no matter what. And this is really interesting because, you know, we've got 5 laps to go, and Coach kind of triggers everyone to start pushing themselves. And you can see everyone in that group was just kind of hanging out, and as soon as he went by, everyone started jumping. And that's what happens in these races. You've got to be ready for any major moves. They can come at any time, and you just never know who's going to go off and who are you going to be able to catch. So it's important that you measure how you react to these things. Now, as we come through here, there's definitely some traffic, and my job is to get back out in front as quick as I can. And one of the lead riders kind of comes over and crashes the line a little bit, and so we have to sort of reset everything because we didn't want to, you know, make it dangerous for anyone. So I slowed back down, and actually what Coach was sharing with him was, let us get to the front. We're going to, you know, time trial this effort, and you guys can jump in behind us. I don't think at any point did Coach or I think that we were going to be contending for a win here in Cavite. That was not our goal. Our goal was really to get in here and run our plan of maintaining tempo, time trialing this effort, and seeing how far that would get us. So coach is in front, I'm running second, and of course the other guys are behind me in the Tronco, with the exception of our favorite guy, who just wants to power up the left side, which I love and appreciate for sure. So by no means am I making fun of him. If anything, it's more envious. So as we get here to the U-turn, we're now on lap 4, so things are definitely starting to pick up a little bit, and you know we're making sure that we're in the right places. So coming out of this, it's time to jump on it. So you know, I start pushing really hard. I want to get to the front as quick as possible so that I can set the pace and keep everyone else behind me for as long as possible. Coach is tucked in behind me, of course, as we push back up to the top of the race course. All right, so we've made it around the corner now. We're here at the top of the course U-turn, and you can see got a little bit shaky there. I just don't think he realized coach was on the inside. So now coach is just reminding him, let's do this right. Let's do it safe. This is just a fun race after all. You know, there's nobody getting paid to be here or anything crazy like that. But again, he just reminded him, let us jump in front. We're ready to do the hard work. You guys can preserve yourself so that you guys have a great sprint, and we'll kind of act like the lead outs, if you will, to the best of our ability. So that was sort of the plan, and it was really just about giving them a chance to do their thing, but not have it turn into anything that might have gotten a little bit crazy. Sometimes in these crit races, you know, nerves get going, people get anxious, and you know, you have one little mistake and all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of people laying on the ground. So ideally, I know TommyTheTank put this race on. It was on her heart to have a race on a closed course where everyone could be safe. So you could run at high speeds, you could just enjoy the race, and still have fun. So again, as we start going down, we're time trialing here. You can see one guy flew off the front, which was totally fine, and we decided to just maintain ourselves, and the other guys jumped in behind me as we approached the U-turn, and now we're on lap 3. So 3 laps to go, and like I said, the intensity was going up each and every lap, no question. Again, we make the turn, coach looks to see where I'm at, and it's my turn to jump back out in front and drag us up top again. So we've gotten back up to the top. We're around the corner here where the buildings start, and we've got some lap traffic again, so we're going to jump around these guys, and you can see coach coming up here on the left. And so as we come out of this U-turn, he's going to lead me out, and then we'll start that Tronco going back down towards the finish line. So nice good turns here. It's really important to just maintain that effort and stay on top of it. He takes a look over his shoulder to make sure I'm still there. This is something that every rider can benefit from that's doing events where you're operating as a team. You know, you have to look around, you've got to communicate with one another, look over your shoulder to make sure your teammate's there with you. And I have a bad habit, unfortunately. I forget that I have a camera up front sometimes, so I get in this one position where my hands are literally in front of the camera, but I cut that out so you didn't have to watch my hands the whole time. So I'm behind coach here. Speeds have not come down at all. We're doing 42 to 44 now, pretty much the whole way. You know, it's important to pick a good line. When you're the lead out guy, you're in charge of the line. So in this case, you know, we're watching the other guys. They're coming up, trying to accelerate. We've only got 2 laps to go. So it's kind of get down to the nitty gritty. It's game time. So coming out, you can see he's putting in a big time effort to get that speed back up right away, and so am I. I'm coming along. He knows I'm going to take over at the front, which is just fine. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to, like I said, time trial for these guys. Let them get in behind us. Let them feel how that works, so that they can do what they're good at. This was the flyer that had gone off, you know, a couple hundred meters before. We've now caught up to him, and he's going to join back up with this main pack. there's no point for him to get out and work that hard all by himself. He can't sustain it for 2 more laps. So he jumps in with the rest of the pack, and we motor up around the corner. Now at this point, I'm starting to ramp up the speed myself, just because, you know, we want to kind of stretch this out as much as we can, and see what everybody's made of. And so I start pushing it up around 43, 44, just to see, you know, what that was going to feel like for everyone else. And true to form, you know, these guys are in shape. I think most of them probably ride every single day, a lot more than the average person. So they were able to accelerate and stick with us. But I've seen the pictures now, and I can tell some of them were hurting, but that's okay. I was hurting too, so you know, it's all fun when you're racing. So here, coach has me jump back out front. So I'm gonna lead the Tronco back down, and then we end up switching, and it's just because it was a heavy pull on the way up. So he tells me to take a break, and I jump in behind him, and we start hammering again. Because this is coming down now, we're gonna be on the last lap. So what he wants me to do is conserve as much energy as I can, staying behind him. He gets into a very aerodynamic tuck position. And it's almost like a true time trial position, where he's at the very tip of his seat, basically standing and just pushing down on the pedals. And so he's hammering. At this point, we're up over 45 kilometers an hour, and which is moving. We've got some lap traffic that we've got to navigate around. So he pulls up a little bit just to keep it safe for everyone. Again, picks an outside line to avoid a big crack in the road. And I'm kind of on I wouldn't say I was on my limit just yet, but sometimes when I'm pushing myself, I stop caring about what I'm rolling over, and that's not a good thing. So here comes the guys. They know that this is the last lap, so this is a down and back scenario. So the guys that have been waiting behind me have now pushed up, but I'm going to do it one last time. So I'm going to get up here. I'm going to hammer. You can see that they've moved over to the left for me, so I shoot by, and at this point it's time for me to empty the tank. The tank's going to empty the tank, and so I really start to ratchet it up. We got up to 44, 45, 47, and the fastest speed that I got on this particular part of the course was 51.7. And that was just to really push these guys as hard as I possibly could. I wanted to string out as much as we could to hopefully put coach in a good position to you know, keep it fun and challenging on the second half of this lap. So we make it around the corner here, slowing down a little bit now. We're back down in that 45, 47 range. And of course the U-turn is coming up quickly. You can't take the U-turn too hot. You'll lose traction on your front tire or your rear wheel and hit the ground. And nobody wants to do that, but here they come. So you can see we've got 2 guys jumping in. The guy in the white shirt and the purple shorts actually ends up being, I believe it was 8th or 9th place overall, and or I'm sorry, maybe it was 4th place. Forgive me, but anyway, so here they come. This is the charge. Now, I'll be honest with you, this is about when I kind of run out of everything. So I stayed as close as I could for a while, but this pace was hot, and I just didn't have it in me anymore. I had done a huge pull to get them up around me, you know, around the corner, and you can see that I just break contact. So, you know, I'm 50 years old. I'll be 51 in a couple weeks. My birthday's coming up in June, and I love rolling with all these young guys. It is an absolute blessing and pleasure, and I just have a ton of respect for them. I know how hard it is to do this kind of stuff, and I know how hard they work in order to be this much faster, that much better. So I have mad respect for all of them. And like I said, it was just a blessing to be a part of this event. And I had lots of cheers on the way in, which was super cool, because it was hard. I'm telling you, it was hard. So here we are crossing the finish line, got the high five a couple people, and yeah, make the final U-turn. So Really fun. I can't say enough good things about this event, about the race, about the people in it, and yeah, just awesome. Can't wait to do it.
Solid, boys, solid. Nice. Solid, boys, good job, huh? Nice. Nice work. No, it's all good. Morning. Okay, so that's it. I don't know how it finished because it's too far behind. Hey, morning. But we did good. Led a few of the important laps. Get ourselves in a good position. But yeah, that was insane. So, thank you, brother. So that was awesome. And now I'm gonna get a cold beverage. Whew. Solid, man. Good job. Have fun. Morning. Hey, what's up, brother? How are you, man? Good to see you. Awesome.
Take a picture.
Yeah. Hey.
Take a picture, sir. Thank you.
Perfect.
Come on, 1, 2.
Shout out to Angie. Thank you so much for these pics. She raced in the women's road bike division. Did great.
Okay, so that's it. All done here in Kawit at the race course. Now we're going to make our way back to the shrine, Aguinaldo Shrine, also still in Kawit, of course. And that's where we're going to have the awarding ceremony and food and everything else. So should be fun. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm here with future pro Kuya Charlie Briones. We're down in Kawit, Cavite at the Crit. Yeah? Are you gonna do Crits when you grow up? Yeah? Awesome. How old are you? You have girlfriend yet? How many girlfriends do you have? 3? 3 girlfriends. Okay, see you guys. Congratulations!
Shoutout kay Gary, babaero!
Babaero na! Okay, so the event is over now here with TommyTheTank, and wow, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Look at that, great turnout.
For us.
Great turnout, safe. Everybody goes home happy, and the event was fantastic.
Thank you.
So we'll definitely be back for this. So much fun. Thank you for inviting us and making it a point to put on a spectacular day for everyone. So yeah.
Yeah, that's my goal for everyone. Not for, for me. It's
awesome.
for everyone, yeah.
All right, more from Kawit for sure. Guaranteed. Okay, see you guys. Tank approved. So here we are now back at Aguinaldo Shrine. And the significance of the shrine, for those of you not in the Philippines maybe and watching, is this is where the Philippine independence was proclaimed, actually June 12th. So the anniversary is coming up pretty soon, back in 1898. So definitely a significant place, a fitting place really to have a race come to an end. So this is fantastic, love it. And food here, entertainment here, people are here, so it's all good. All good for sure. So there you go. Right back there, up here, there you go. So that's the shrine there behind me. What an amazing place. Definitely cool. Feel very blessed to be able to be here and have fun with this. So good stuff. Here's our young guy that worked so hard today to get his burger steak. His yummy burger steak from Jollibee. Now you know you're working with a professional. She has 2 cups of ice cream.
Congratulations! Thank you so much!
POV, okay. Who's the man?
Lead shoes! From Vans! From Vans! Bago ang lahat, kailangan muna syempre ng pang-inspirasyon. You sing a song for us! Okay. Let's give it up!
Magandang hapon! Salamat! We are so excited to be able to come and support TommyTheTank in this event, and just judging by seeing all of you, it's amazing, and I know it's just the first, so thank you so much, Kawit, Cavite. We loved it here. It was awesome. You guys are super fast, so thank you so much. Salamat, salamat. Maraming.
Maraming salamat po sa
Number 33!
I'm telling you.
Michael!
All I could do to catch up to these guys, but in the end, no chance. Congratulations, man.
Maraming po salamat. Right side po sa lahat na. Shoutout po sa Proyekto Bisikleta, sa anak ko, sa asawa ko. Maraming salamat.
Laser!
Solid.
Ben! Lapitario!